Welcome, I'm 𝗏𝘀𝗲𝗏. I'm the artist and astrologer of Mystick, Physick, Astrology, and I work with Western Sidereal astrology in my practice to help you reconnect with your soul purpose and to remember why you came into this world to begin with. And if you need to look up your sidereal sign placements, you can do that. I have a handy online calculator at mystickphysick.com/siderealtools, and I'll include that link in the video description. I'll go back and edit it after we're done here, in case you need to look up your chart, because we're talking about sidereal transits today using the 𝗦𝘀𝗶𝗵𝘁𝘀 zodiac. But thank you for joining me. Running a little bit late this morning, getting started with the broadcast because I kept having some thoughts come to mind about our Venus and Mercury changing signs today. And I wanted to share some of those thoughts with you and give you some ideas and some tools on how you can put those transits to use. But my aim with the broadcast is really around that whole idea, providing guidance on how we can consciously use the energy of the transiting planets to affect our lives in a positive way, right? So that we can move towards the outcomes that we want. And so I invite you, if you think you would get benefit from joining us every other Monday here on the Mystick Physick Astrology Facebook page and YouTube channel, please like and share the broadcast. Tag a friend if you know someone who might be interested in joining us for our chats every other Monday. So today we're talking about Mercury's upcoming retrograde. There's some things you want to know about it, how you can put it to use. So we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about that. We have Venus and Mercury changing signs today, and so we're going to explore that as well. And then we also have a little bit on the upcoming new moon in sidereal Sagittarius that I want to talk about in early March. So let's kind of recap where we're at. We're kind of really at the end of our window of having all the planets in direct motion for the beginning of the year. So hopefully you all took advantage of that window and capitalized on that time and used it wisely so that you could move towards what you want to accomplish for this year as much as possible. Well, everything is kind of, that full steam ahead kind of energy. So through the rest of the year, now we're going to have more ongoing, off and on retrograde dynamic that will affect how things flow from this point out. We have we have Mercury having entered the shadow of his retrograde that begins in March. And so we're starting to feel that slow down. Right now we have the sun in Sidereal Aquarius. And so this is really a good time to tap into a willingness to kind of venture into new territory in the upcoming weeks. And what can happen for you if you're willing to do that while the sun is in Aquarius is that you may find that there's some surprising results in store for you. Today, that's going to run through about mid-March when the sun moves into sidereal Pisces. Today we have Venus moving into Capricorn. Do I have that right? And Mars entering Pisces. I'm going to double check my transit chart here, folks, because I've been working in a couple different months and I do not want to lead you astray. So my mind is in March, but we're still in February. So let me double check this here. So yes, she's moving into Capricorn. I just wanted to confirm while I bump the camera here. So this is Capricorn's kind of status conscious, right? Like this is a very, this is an energy that can be kind of very aware of how it's being perceived or what it's projecting for others to receive, right? And with Venus there, she can be a little more restrained, a little more serious in Capricorn. So it's a slightly different flavor to Venus. She's moving in to Capricorn today. She'll be there through about the 22nd of March. So for most of March and for most of Mercury's retrograde, we can play with this energy, okay? We have Mercury entering Pisces later today, and with Mercury in Pisces, this is kind of a challenging transit. Mercury's not really at his best in Pisces, shall we say. Pisces is a very reclusive kind of sign. It's a very introspective kind of sign. And so with Mercury there, it's a great time to do introspection and contemplation. Problem is, Pisces is also very kind of secretive, and Mercury is the planet of communication. And so sometimes when Mercury is in Pisces, we can experience information being shared where we don't want it being shared, or secrets coming out or being revealed. And so kind of keep these things in mind while we have Mercury in Pisces and going into his retrograde. He'll be moving into Aquarius, though, before the retrograde is over. Okay, so what can we do with these energies, right? This is what we really want to explore. With Venus and Capricorn, this can be a time to really kind of dig into what's important to you in life, especially in terms of what you want out of it. You can do that up through March 22nd while she's there, so maybe kind of just do some soul searching in that regard, in terms of like, what are your ambitions? What do you really want to do with your life? Where do you want to be at the end of it? Where are you now? How can you get there? With Mercury moving into retrograde in Pisces and then into Aquarius, what happens is you can come off of that exploration of what do you want most out of life and step right into naturally figuring out what you need to do and what changes do you need to make to put you and keep you on the path of actualizing that you've just identified what you want. Okay, so use March, especially these initial 3 weeks of March as we move into it with Mercury retrograde, to really kind of spend some time with this. You can do it however you're most comfortable. You can do it through journaling. You can do it through meditation. You can do it through visualization. There's a lot of different processes that you can use, but the idea is get clear about what's important to you. Okay, what's most important to you. Get clear about your dream, and then spend some time articulating your vision. That's what you're going to do while you have Mercury in Aquarius. Okay, and that's when you're going to articulate your vision. And so really this allows you to move into a space where you can be implementing towards your hopes, your dreams, your goals in a new and refreshed way, which gets you back on track. And you want to be ready to step into implementation by mid-April. When we have Mercury back up to full speed, you'll be really well positioned to start doing that. Okay, so it's kind of what we're moving into. It's a state of flux is what we're entering here as Mercury gets ready to begin his retrograde on March 5th. So just be prepared for that. On the 19th, I wrote March in my notes here. Like I said, I'm bouncing back and forth between timelines. On the 19th, Mercury entered the shadow of his retrograde, right? He's actually going to station retrograde on the 5th of March. That will last through the 28th. These are important dates. If you have your calendar, they'll be noted. If you don't have your calendar, you might want to mark these in if you don't have an ultimate astrological planner. The retrograde lasts through the 28th, but he's not going to emerge from the retrograde shadow until mid-April, right around April 16th. And so those are kind of the dates you want to be aware of and keep on your radar while we move through Mercury retrograde. And if you need a refresher about what that's about and how you can best navigate Mercury retrogrades, you'll want to read the Mercury retrograde survival guide that I have. And actually, let me see, let me see if I can copy this link. I don't know if it goes to the blog post or the download. I have a little downloadable. Oh, never mind. I just copied the text. It didn't even copy the link. Anyway, I wanted to get you a link. Let me open the hyperlink. And we'll see. Oh yeah, huh? Here we go. So this is the blog post. Good. This is what I want you to get. So you'll head on over to the blog post. This will kind of give you a refresher about what the retrograde is, how you can work with it, and give you a little bit more information about that. And then today we're talking specifically in the nitty-gritty, like how you can tie that in with the energy of the signs that Mercury will be retrograding during March. Okay, so just to recap on that, get clear about the most important outcome, get clear on your dream, articulate your vision, be ready to implement by mid-April. That's what we want. Okay, if you need the refresher, visit that link. That'll kind of get you back up to speed. And then remember, leave elbow room around the beginning and the end of the retrograde, around the 5th and around, what did we say the end was, the 28th? Yeah. Give those days some space when you're planning, right? Give that time to dissipate the energy of the stationary planet to kind of dissipate, because you don't want to get caught in the blowback with your plans and your activities, your daily life, right? So give a couple days of space around those 2 dates when you're making plans for important things in your life, whether that's meetings or things around communication or travel or what have you, anything Mercury related. For example, here's a great example. So we have our upcoming new moon intention setting in Aquarius that will be happening on the 5th of March. And that is the day that Mercury stations. And I won't be rescheduling that because that's part of our normal broadcast schedule if you're a member of the Sidereal Insights Astro Update group. But what I would encourage you to do is if you have something like that that needs to happen and you have a choice about when to schedule it, don't do it on that day. Folks who'll join me on the broadcast will probably be prepared ahead of time to know that anything could go wrong during our broadcast. But at the same time, you have very powerful Mercury energy to tap into that day too, if you choose to do a little inner exploration. The new moon in Aquarius. This one's interesting, coming up just the day after Mercury stations. We have the new moon in Aquarius with the sun and moon conjunct to Neptune. There's about a 2-degree orb there. This can leave us kind of emotionally energized around this idea of fulfilling our dreams, right? And so this can be kind of beneficial to have this happen during Mercury retrograde, which is when we would normally say don't start new projects, right? It can be beneficial if you personally have a history of false starts in the area of pursuing your hopes and dreams, right? So what you can do is take this new moon during a retrograde and leverage it as a second chance opportunity, which goes back to the practice that I was just encouraging you to go through with the Venus and Mercury transits. So in this respect, insights which potentially could trigger transformation, could trigger profound change, pain, death, rebirth cycles, those are possible around this upcoming new moon. And that can ultimately help us move closer to our aspirations and help further our own spiritual evolution at the same time. So expect Neptune to be involved with that new moon, which means it's not going to be clean, it's not going to be clear. It'll kind of cast maybe a mystical spell over what would normally be a very airy and intellectual new moon in Aquarius. It's going to kind of give it kind of a dusting of illusion, and it could potentially affect our ability to find clarity of thought, clarity of intent. So just perhaps consider keeping your new moon intentions for that new moon coming up on the 6th of March kind of loose, kind of less detailed, and see how those blanks get filled in naturally. But that's where we're at. We'll talk more about what's coming up after the new moon in Aquarius next time. In 2 weeks when we come back to the broadcast. But you can definitely read through the Mercury retrograde survival guide, pull up your copy of your sidereal natal chart, have a look at what signs Mercury and Pisces are in, or excuse me, what houses Mercury and Pisces and Aquarius, I can't talk today, sorry. See what houses they're in so that you know which of your houses are going to be activated during Mercury's retrograde as well. And then you can kind of tailor the experience a little bit more closely to your own life and your own goals. The March overview and short reports, moving on to announcements. They're going to drop soon, probably late tomorrow or early Wednesday, so stay tuned for the Sidereal March overview and short reports. Join me for the new moon in Aquarius intention setting practice in the Sidereal Insights community on Facebook at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 a.m. GMT, or 1:30 p.m. I believe on the 6th, if you're joining us from Australia and Eastern Standard Time, for the new moon in Aquarius intention setting that we're going to be doing coming up. Join me for that, and be aware, Mercury's going to station, so anything can happen. Okay, and please like and share the broadcast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again next time.